Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman and today we're going to be asking ourselves a question that, let's face it, should have been asked a long time ago. I don't know why we haven't done it before, but anyway, we are doing it now, and that is, which is the best Beefeater? So, as I'm sure you all know, I have featured every one of these fellas on the channel before, so let's sort of run through them again, shall we, and have a bit of a recap and remind ourselves about what they're all about. So, let's start at the beginning, shall we, where it all began, and that is, of course, what I would call the classic Beefeater. Now, this little fellow is just... You've probably seen my review on this one. I did it way back at the beginning of the channel, and as you can see, I've drunk most of it. There's not much left. This one is just... It's just what I call my most common and most reliable go-to gin. You can get it absolutely everywhere, and it's always very reasonably priced, and it's never ever going to let you down. It's just, it's kind of gin by numbers, but it's sort of gin by very good numbers. You know, I don't want that to sound too disparaging. So let me just remind myself of the flavours of it. It's just it's just lovely. It's not going to be world changing. It's not sort of flavours that are completely bonkers and out there and experimental. It is just bloody good gin. I think that was a bit hard. I whacked on the table there, but never mind. But well, it just sort of represents how much I like it. You know, I think sometimes a gin is so nice you have to bang on a table to sort of express that to people, and it's that sort of gin. So that, my friends, you will never ever go wrong with. Now then, next up is, of course, the Beefeater 24. Now, if you're not familiar with this one, this is really their premium product. And it is essentially, well, if you'll pardon the pun, a beefed up version of the old Beefeater over here. So Desmond Payne, the master distiller at Beefeater, went and spent some time out in the Far East, okay? And he sort of looked at all their flavours that they were using over there, their sort of traditional spices and flavours, and he sort of brought them into the Beefeater gin family, and he made this because this has sort of an oriental twang about it. So it's used sort of Chinese spices and Chinese tea flavours, which is pretty unique. I don't think I've ever, apart from this, I don't think I've ever heard of tea being used in a gin. Oh, no. I tell a lie. The old gunpowder gin, that uses tea as well, but a different type of tea. More sort of what the hell was it? Rolled up tea or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was tea. But this just does it, honestly, absolutely beautifully. It is a stupendous gin. Let me just remind myself. It just makes me melt. It's like this one, but better. They improved perfection, and I think that's just absolutely extraordinary. You get these lovely sort of spiciness in there, but the use of tea, it's only very subtle. You could say, oh, he's a British guy. Yeah, obviously he put tea in it because, you know, we love tea. I'm not actually a big tea drinker, but it works so well. So if you ever see this in your area and you like a Beefeater and you've tried it before, get some of this down your throat, my friend, because honestly, I guarantee you will love it. And if you don't, I'll come around to your house and I will give you some cash. Now then, this is where things get a little bit more interesting, because then we move on to the fruity varieties of Beefeater. Now let's start off with this little fella, which is, of course, Beefeater Blood Orange Gin. Now, those of you who saw my original review on this one, this was the very first Beefeater that I was actually less than impressed with. It left me a little bit cold, to be honest. It promised so much, because orange gin is becoming, or certainly was last year, was becoming a very sort of popular thing to do. We had the Malfi. I haven't got any more. I've drunk it all. Malfi did one, the blood orange. Tanqueray Sevilla did a sort of an orange one as well, and many other ones as well. But then I was really sort of excited about this one. But when I tried it, it just left me feeling a little bit flat. I was kind of disappointed. I didn't feel the love, the passion that I felt in these two, certainly in that one. To me, it didn't transfer. It felt like they just sort of whacked something out without really thinking about it or putting too much thought into it. Let me just remind myself, hang on. Yeah, it's kind of just, a bit dull, a bit kind of generic. Yeah, a little bit generic. It's got no character or sort of, oomph or real personality in there. So that was a little bit disappointing, that one. And that was the first and only one that I'm going to tell you to avoid. I don't like saying it. I don't even like saying to avoid a Beefeater, because they're so good and so reliable. But if I'm going to have to choose one not to go to and try, it would be that one, I'm afraid. But if you disagree, as always, let me know. But at the moment, that's the bottom of the Beefeater pile. according to me anyway. However, my friends, things move into another gear now, because this little fellow, many of you will have seen me talk about this one before. This is, of course, the Beefeater Pink Strawberry. And oh my God, this thing is something else. It is a different story completely to this one, because, it's just totally the opposite end of the scale. It's got pizzazz, it's got sort of character, it's got personality, and it's got sort of zing, zing, zing. I don't know what that means, but let me just hang on a second. My God. It's just a treat. It is a treat and an indulgence, a strawberry flavored indulgent. I did a video a few weeks ago using a martini making this one, and man alive, it was just heaven. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of the strawberry flavours. Ironically, I don't like eating strawberries, but strawberry flavour anything, absolutely, I am all over that. Now, the thing is, when we come to decide, because that's what ultimately what this video is, what is the best Beefeater? It's kind of a, I want to say dichotomy, but I'm not sure if that's the right word. I heard it the other day and I thought, that's a great word, but I'm not really sure how to use it yet. But here it is. Maybe you can tell me if I'm using the word correctly. As you can probably tell, I get the most excited about this one. However, here's the problem, or what I think is a dichotomy. It's kind of almost not a gin. It's so all-encompassing with that huge sort of intense blast of strawberries. It's almost, you don't get much juniper in there. And at the end of the day, I like to think of myself as a purist here, and to be a purist, a gin purist, gin has to taste of juniper. It has to be the core essence, and you do kind of lose it a little bit, which sounds really bad and pretentious, but oh man, it's so tough. But going along those lines, if I had to pick a winner here, it's gonna be between these two, because I can't make it that. I can't. The purist in me just says you can't do that. As absolutely wonderful and as guilty a pleasure it is. In fact, it's right on the cusp, so it's 37.5% ABV. Any lower than that, it then can't even call itself a gin anymore. It becomes a gin liqueur. Okay, so that's just literally on the cusp of becoming a gin liqueur and not a real gin. So, if we're going to pick a winner, by the way, before we pick the winner, one of my favourite things about Beefeater is the price. This is some of the best gin you'll get, or maybe not that one, but Beefeater generally is some of the best gin you'll ever get in the world. Not only is it ready available everywhere, it's bloody cheap. So these ones and this one, most Beefeaters are not going to be, they float around about the £15 mark, which is about $20. This one's a little bit more. It's about sort of £25, which is about $30. But still, that's the bottom end, cheap end of the gin spectrum, and it's incredible. It just shows you don't have to pay loads to get really good quality. Now then, I must just tell you at this point, there are a couple of Beefeaters I haven't included on this list. And I'll tell you for why. There's one called Borough Reserve and one called London Garden, but they are very niche and they're quite difficult to get hold of. So I'm very aware that I have subscribers from all around the world watching this channel. So I don't think it's really relevant, and I think it'd be very difficult to get hold of them. However, there is also another fruity one, which is a blackberry gin. And again, this one seems to be, I think it's a limited edition one, because I cannot find it in any of the shops around here. I've looked and I cannot find it, and in fact it's not even included on their website anymore. So I've decided to just leave it to these ones because it's most relevant to all my subscribers around the world. But okay, here we go. If you want to tie me down to a winner, and that's, as I say, what the point of this video was for, it's got to be between these two. And really, to be honest, as good as this one is, it's once you narrow it down to these two, it's a pretty easy decision to make, because this, as I say, is just a better version of that one. So, my friends, esteemed gin drinkers, colleagues, subscribers, and viewers around the world, this I would like to proudly announce. And if Beefeater, if you want to get in touch, I know you always ignore all my emails and correspondence, but if you do, then please feel free to, and we can sort of do something, I don't know, send me a free gift. But this, my friends, I salute you, and I say keep up the bloody good work, because that, my friends, is crowned today the king of all the Beefeaters, the Beefeater 24. So guys, there you have it, the answer to the question that literally everyone was asking, to the best of my knowledge. That little fellow is the best Beefeater that money can buy. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to express that enjoyment by, as always, clicking on the like button and subscribing to my channel and pressing the little bell icon so you get notified when all my new videos come out. And of course, check out my Patreon page for all sorts of exclusive content and material. But until next time guys, I will see you then, and I shall be Bobby Freeman. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.